A very good morning to you and Happy New Year. I mean, listen, it's not too late to start saying Happy New Year, right? It is our first show of the year 2023 and we're super excited and super pumped for the year. So I hope that you are excited about the year as well. Welcome to the show. My name is Winnie Lubamba. It's so good to see you in this new year. So I really hope that you've had a better start to the year. This is your world and we have a lot to cover during this hour of the show because again, guess what? It is the first show of the year. So the thing that we want to start with is all about setting goals for the new year. And I know, majority of the people, when we start talking about the new year and you mention goals and you mention resolution, well, to some people, it is such a strong, demanding word and it screams, I must. It is a demand that we place upon ourselves and there is no room for failure. Yet, failure is pretty much inevitable. So while most people simply just don't respond well to this word, others actually take it as a challenge. So the question is, what exactly is it about resolutions or goals that is so daunting that creates so much anxiety? And how can we make that word much better for us and of course work for us as well? That is what we'll be focusing on the conversation today right here on Your World. So you do not want to miss any part of the show. It is a lot, I promise you, but how about we start with a bit of statistics just to, lay the ground, all right, as far as resolutions or goal setting is concerned. Now, according to a study that was actually done by Forbes, right, a world report, again, like I said, by Forbes, 80% of New Year's resolutions actually fail. And here's the thing, most people will actually abandon their New Year's resolutions by February each year. All right, so I really wonder, what is it about February? Is it that we get tired about our resolutions, or we don't stay on course? We'll be dissecting more on the same. But then of course the question is why is it that majority of the people, number one, do not achieve their goals? And this is as far as resolutions is concerned, or goals or intentions. Well, the question or a report actually by Forbes again continues to say that most of the reasons why some people do not achieve their goals is, and this is the top 3 reasons, right? So number 1 is lack of change in consciousness, all right? And then the second part is lack of accountability, structure to help sustain change, okay? And then number 3 is fear and resistance to achieving the set goal. So we'll be highlighting and of course delving deeper into these 3 reasons why a lot of people actually, number 1, lack change in consciousness, number 2, lack accountability, and this is as far as structuring their resolutions just to make sure that they sustain the change. And number 3, there's also the whole question about fear and resistance, and this is to achieve the New Year's resolution. So like I said, we'll be delving deeper to really understand the reasons why this actually happens. But the question that we're having or we're asking you today, that is as far as setting goals for the year, is what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? So that is what we want to know from you. What are some of your intentions and resolutions for the year 2023? Again, as always, the hashtag to use is Your World, and let us know what you guys think about this. First of all, this whole question about resolutions, should we set them? Why is it necessary? Are you doomed if you do not set your New Year's resolutions? Well, that is what we'll be delving deeper into the conversation today. And of course, we posted the question and we've seen a number of responses, all right? There's one person who was saying, listen, maybe sina maoni, all right? And another person was saying, the fact that I am alive, that is it. No need to set New Year's resolutions and all those things. So again, we look forward to hear what you have to say as far as the question, and that is, what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? And listen, if you want to call in live and also share your resolutions, that is for those people who are really quick to set their New Year's resolutions or their goals. So if you want to call in and share again your resolutions for the year 2023, feel free to do so. If you're sort of like stuck, don't know where to start, how do you set? Again, feel free to also give us a call. The numbers will be down on your screen in just a second so that we all get to understand what resolutions are all about, and why, again, they can be very daunting, for so many people. And to help us with that conversation, we have Stephen Muiru, who is a life coach. We had him sometime last year, right? At the beginning of the year. What were we talking about? We were talking about self-awareness.
We're talking about self-awareness.
Right?
Yes.
So it's so good to have you back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
you. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
How's the year so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I'm happy, thank God.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And before we came on air, we were talking about resolutions, and should we really set them at the beginning of the year? And there's something, that you said, and I was like, I do that too. And that is, I set my goals or resolutions on my birthday. All right. And of course, but we'll talk about, when exactly can one set their goals? Does it always have to be at the New Year's, or again, you can do it at any time? But let's start with the statistics. 80% of resolutions fail by February. Why do you think that is the case? I mean, and not even think why that is the case. First of all, what do you make of the statistics? I was reading another article and it was saying like 95%. I was like, you know what? Okay, that's a bit of an overstretch. Let's just stick with 80, sort of like more of an average, number. So what do you make of it?
First of all, when you talk about 80% fail, then you're also talking about 20% succeed. And that follows what Pareto talked about, the 20-80 rule or 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
And for me, in terms of the resolutions, it's all a question of how many are very serious about it, how many set them for the right reasons.
Okay.
And you see, when we talk about New Year resolutions, for me, most people do them because it's a fad. It's what everybody does.
Everybody's doing,
so you don't want to be, I think they call it FOMO, the fear of missing out. So you want to sound like everybody else. I'm setting New Year rules or resolutions or goals because that's what everybody does.
And you do not want to be left out.
Yeah, so the issue is we're going to do what everybody is going to do or is doing or is talking about. Because you have not personalized it, you will lose interest along the way. You're not going to be passionate about something that you really don't own.
True.
So the issue about New Year resolutions is that if you want to succeed in them, you must own them. They must be personal. Which is why I was telling you when I set my goals, because I want them to be personal. I don't want them to be because everybody is doing it. What is a new year after all? It's just a change of dates.
Let me tell you, there's the pressure that comes with a new year. It's just too much. So, I mean, to some extent, I can really understand why some people would feel the pressure to set New Year resolutions because, again, everybody's talking about it. You talk to your friends, they tell you, hey, have you set your goals or your resolutions? You go to work, everybody's talking about, hashtag New Year, New Me. This is what I want to do different. You go to social media, everybody's talking about how this. I can understand the pressure to some extent, but I also get what you're saying, that sometimes it can be, too much that you don't really personalize it. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Do you think that is where the problem begins as far as failure that contributes to the 80%?
I totally agree with you. And the other thing is that any goal you set, it's going to cost you. And very many people don't even see to analyze what's the cost. Am I prepared to pay that cost? Do I even understand it in the first place? You see, it takes absolutely no courage to go with the flow,
All right. Okay.
But it takes a lot of courage and it costs you a lot to stand alone and do what you believe is beneficial to you. You're not doing it to please anyone. You're not doing it because everybody is doing it. You're doing it because you are convicted that this is right. You know exactly why you're doing it. So for goals to succeed, you must begin with a very compelling why. Why are you setting the goal? What's the purpose? Because what's a goal? After all, a goal is a name, is a desired result. It's something that you target to achieve. Now, if you target to achieve things, and let me give one example. Every end of the year, many people want to go for holidays. Can I tell you something for a fact? Personally, you will not find me in holiday destinations when everybody is going. For one, it's always too expensive. But that's not even the main reason. If you go to Mombasa, for example, during the December holidays, it's so crowded. And I ask myself, what are people enjoying? Go to Mombasa around this time now, February. You'll be treated like a king, and chances are even prices will be good. So when you do the things everybody is doing, there's always the danger that it's not because you really have a conviction.
Okay.
It's not because you really understand why. You're just doing it.
Okay.
You're just a part of everyone else.
Okay. And that could be problematic.
Yeah.
For people.
And you don't need to be a part of everybody else. You need to stand out. You need to be Winnie Lubebe, who when she speaks, the whole nation listens.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So don't just be like everybody
else. Okay.
Yeah. Be yourself.
There are several, I mean, and like you said, there's a cost to it.
Yes.
You know, standing alone, standing out, there's usually a cost to it. You know, that's, again, so many sacrifices as well, as far as that is concerned. But again, there are several words that we're throwing around, right? So we have goals, we have resolutions, and we have intentions. Three different words mean different things. But again, the difference can be very, very thin that sometimes we tend to miss out on. For example, you talked about goals, and said goals is something that you intend to achieve. So it's more like future. This is what I want to, you know, I want to achieve, for example, at this certain time. And of course, we all know how they usually say goals. They have to be specific. They have to be time bound. They have to be this. They have to be that, right? But when we talk about intention, right? Can we just get you to really understand that? Because majority of the times we usually focus on goals and resolutions, and we forget the intention, right, aspect of the same. So can we really just get to understand intention versus goals versus resolutions, and when it comes to then the execution, you know, of the same?
Awesome. And let me just take you back a little.
Yeah.
When you talk about goals should be, they say SMART.
Yes.
You know, I've been thinking about that, and I have come to the conclusion that it's not goals that need to be smart. It is you who's setting them. When we are talking about smart goals, it is you.
Okay.
You need to be smart when you're setting your goals. You need to be all those things. Specific, you need to know how to measure, all those things.
Okay.
It is you.
Okay.
So when you come to, and the smartness starts with the question you're asking. What's the difference between intentions, goals, and the resolutions?
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, what's a goal? We've said it's something you desire to achieve. A desired result.
Yeah.
It's a name. It's
Okay.
a target.
All right.
When I left my house today, my goal was to come for this show. This was my target. It was my aim. Now, you know, when you invited me, already the goal was there.
Yes.
When I said yes, I expressed my intention.
Okay.
But I could have said, yes, I would like to come. That's a good intention. And then, because of reasons I have, personal, I'm not able to come. And I have to make a decision. I have to resolve, do I go, do I not go? Because resolution is really about a decision that you make and a commitment that you make to that decision. You know, many people don't get to the level of the resolutions.
Okay.
We talk about New Year resolutions, but most people just have New Year intentions.
Yeah.
Intentions is just a wish.
Okay.
I would want. And most people just kind of want things.
I mean, yeah.
Very few people get to the point where they make the resolution.
Right.
They make that decision and they commit to it.
The same.
The goal is a target. That's a big thing. See, I want to buy a car this year. Okay.
Fantastic. Good
Fantastic. And you have this feeling, that would be a nice thing. You have an intention.
goal. Okay.
But now, are you going to make the decision and are you going to be commit and remain committed to it? And there are steps that would help you get there.
Do that,
You know?
yes.
So it is the cost we were saying.
All right.
So intentions for me is just a wish. Have a
Okay.
wish list.
Yeah.
Most people have wish lists.
Okay.
And usually in their mind.
All right.
For you to convert that to goals, you really have to come and write them down.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the way you have merged all three into the process
Yes.
of you know, creating your goal and sticking to it. So there's the intention part of the scene,
Yes.
and then there's the resolving part of the scene. That is to make sure that you know you stick by it and making a commitment
Yes.
to achieve the targets that you've set. It's interesting to see that. But the question is then, should we all set goals, resolutions, and intentions? I mean, like you said, sometimes there can be the pressure for the same, but also there's the 20% that succeeds, right? So it means these people stick to it, these people, you know, bear all the costs to make sure that they achieve their desired goals. But the question is, should we really set them, especially at the beginning of the year?
Well, I will not say specifically at the beginning of the year, but there's a reason why the beginning of year is significant, especially when you talk about the corporate world. Because new things, new beginnings. But the importance of setting goals for everyone is so that, number one, you give your life direction. When you have not set goals, you do not have a specific direction you're moving in. And if you think about planes or ships in the ocean, if they didn't have any goal, they didn't have any target, they would be aimlessly floating in that ocean or in the air. There will be a lot of mishaps, so to speak, because a ship that has no direction and another one that has no direction, they will collide. So you set goals so that, one, you give your life direction. That you don't wake up to wonder. Because you know there are three kinds of people in this world. There are those who make things happen, and those are people with goals. And there are those who watch things happen. Those are people with intentions. They have only intentions. And then there are people who wonder what happened. Because they're just watching. They're spectators. They have no idea. And they end up achieving nothing. So when you set goals, I have said you get direction in life. When you set goals, you get focus. Because it's something very specific you're aiming at. So you're focused. And you know, when you're getting focused in life, it means you're cutting out distractions. A lot of people are, should I say victims or culprits? I don't know which word is right. But they get distracted so easily. Why? They have no direction. They have no goals. They have no focus. If you meet them on the street, you are going to achieve or to pursue your goals. And you ask them, hey, what are you doing today? Can you join me? And they're like, actually, senior form, 22. There are many people like that in this country.
Then we talk about form and all those things. I mean, it's like being senior form.
Then the other thing that setting goals helps you in is that when you set your goals, it is very easy to decide the kind of people now that you're going to associate with, because most of your goals will require you have people who support you. Your cheerleaders, your team, your pillars, you know. So you cut out unnecessary associations because they are not helpful. But when you do not have goals, you will welcome everybody into your space. And without knowing, they are actually draining you. They're draining your energy. They're draining your resources. They're draining your time. So goals help you decide, this is the direction I'm going. Let me get the people who are going in the same direction, and those are the people I'm going to have as my team. Because you don't have to be a friend of everyone. You don't have to associate with everyone. You don't even have the time for that. So when you become specific, you also narrow down on the people that, in your room.
That will help you. That will help you with this.
Now, one of the reasons a lot of people fail, we say by February, because they go to the same old associations they had, and maybe the associations they had, ni watu wa kulewa. So if you have serious goals and all you're thinking about is drinking, are you going to achieve those goals? Because sometimes you need to change company. You need to also change even location sometimes to achieve the goals
that you want.
So there are so many benefits. I've just mentioned about 3. Goals also give you meaning in life. So when you wake up, you don't just wake up for the sake of waking up. Otherwise, you just go to bed. And there are people who do that. They wake up. In fact, there's one time I asked a guy, I do personal development training. I asked a guy, what time do you wake up? He said, it depends. I asked him, on what? Well, what I have to do on that day. So meaning that you don't have set goals for the day. It is, you like, are just going with the flow. So if you really have nothing, you can wake up at, and he said, I can wake up at 11, at 1, and sometimes I'll wake up, at eat, 5, go back
to bed.
So, how boring can such a life be? But I'm so glad he changed. Today he tells me, you taught me something very important. Because setting goals, Winnie, is about intentionality. Living your life intentionally.
Intentionally,
Yes.
yeah. All right. And I mean, there's several things that you've mentioned, which is, again, sort of like gives you direction, helps you to stay focused and really understand, and even selecting, the kind of support that you need to achieve your goals, which is good. And when we posted the question on social media, someone actually said, what's the point? Because sometimes you set the goal. Yes, you choose to stay focused. But again, there's what you plan and what the universe, God, or, whatever it is that you believe in, has their own plan. So it's like you make your own plans, but then again, there's also this other plan that has been set up for you, that sometimes it becomes difficult, to achieve your set goals, because guess what? That is not what you are intended to sort of achieve by that year, because of a higher power that maybe someone believes in, the universe and all those things. So someone was like, then what's the point? Let's just go with the flow and see what
that's a
the
very,
universe, has for us.
That's a very profound point, and I totally agree that there are times you will set goals, but the universe or God
its
has
own-
other plans.
yes.
But you know why? I am a firm believer in what the Bible says, that many are the plans of a man, but it's only God's plan that prevails,
True.
or God's purpose. The reason most of the times you fail in your plans is because they are not aligned with God's purpose for your life.
Okay.
And it's because they are not aligned with who you are meant to be. And I have a 3L rule.
Okay.
Number one, if you want to succeed in the goals you set, learn who you are. That's
Okay.
L number one.
Find
Learn
your
who you
purpose.
are.
All right.
Number two, love who you are.
Okay.
There are people who want to be other people. So you are setting goals that sort of are trying to ape what somebody else is setting. You are not them. If you have not learned who you are, it is possible you will not love who you are.
Okay.
So love who you are.
right.
God intended for you to be here for a particular purpose.
All right.
And because of that, He equipped you with certain attributes that are uniquely you.
All right.
You have gifts and talents that are uniquely you. So don't try to be Eliud Kipchoge. I cannot run a marathon. I cannot be Ineos 159. I cannot.
Yeah.
Eliud cannot be
I mean,
me.
he said no man is limited.
Well,
You
in the
could.
sense of your area of
That's
gifting.
true. Yeah.
You are limited in the sense that you can't do everything.
I mean,
Can you imagine Eliud Kipchoge now on... and Eliud, if you're listening to me, I'm just using you as an example. Imagine Eliud Kipchoge standing on the pulpit now. He may well do it.
Yes.
But right now you can't see that because that's not...
His strength is more on track.
Or imagine him running against Usain Bolt. Do you think he can win against Usain Bolt?
No.
So that's a point. And vice versa. Usain Bolt cannot
Again, win
win
especially when it
against...
comes to marathon
yeah.
stuff. Yes.
So this is my point. Learn who you are, love who you are, but most importantly, and this is where the goals come,
right.
live who you are.
Okay.
And to live who you are is, once you've discovered your purpose, then align your goals with that purpose. Once you've discovered what you really love and what you are wired for, don't start trying to be somebody else.
Okay.
In fact, I think it is Oscar Wilde who said, be yourself. Everyone else is already
just-
taken.
yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So live your life.
Okay.
But how do you live what you don't know?
Okay.
And you know why I brought that out? For me, I feel if you have to make one resolution this year, it is to learn who you
Who
truly
you
are.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Personal development, many people don't understand it. I never did for a long time. But when I went through personal development, I realized, wow, I went to school to
so
study
much
architecture of
architecture,
buildings.
yes.
And
Yeah.
for the longest, that's all I was doing. And kumbe, I have a calling.
Yeah.
I was called to be a mindset architect. And when I started doing the mindset architecture,
Yeah.
I can tell you I became an unstoppable force of nature.
I like that.
You've not called me here today, for example, because I'm an architect of
because.
buildings. You didn't even mention it because it's no longer an
It's
issue
no longer
for
an issue, yes.
even for the world.
Yeah.
So I was living a lie. I thought that's all I was.
But there's so much more than
There's so
you
much
know,
more,
that
and the main
you
me
did not
is
discover
the
it.
architect of people's lives, helping people structure their lives, structure how they think,
Okay.
shift mindsets. And you talked about consciousness as lack of shifting consciousness
yes.
as one of the reasons
people
why
actually,
people...
Yes, they actually said lack of change of consciousness, behavioral change. So we want to change our behavior. Like you said, for example, I want to stop drinking. I want to stop spending too much money. I want to stop doing these things. But if we do not change our consciousness, then changing our behavior sometimes becomes difficult. So that is what the article was, pointing out.
And that's a mind shift.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Right. I mean, see that. So 3 L's for you to think about, even as we actually are about to go on a break. You said number 1, learn who you are, love who you are, and leave who you are. So think about those 3 things, even as we take this break. But remember the question that we asked you, and that is, what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? And of course, the hashtag to use is your world. Well, let's get to hear what someone has to say as far as the question. George Adera says, watching NTV 24/7. I mean, look at that. Please do. We like that. Please do. All right. And then someone else says, and again, we have so many programs very useful for you. So yes, that's a good resolution. All right. Career Hillary says, to honor, pick up and pay my HELB loan wengine wasome. I like that.
Wow,
all right.
Awesome.
All right. And then someone else says, chasing money, promotions, and good health. God and money is what I want in life. All right. I like that. Helen Moran, all the very best. And then Adrian Susan says, stop eating too much and work for my goals. Hey, okay. And then Okaya Omole says, to know God more and more. I mean, look at that. All right. And of course, bro, this is brother Louis Derrick says, Kuoa. And that's a good, I mean, listen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, nataka kuoa. All right. So, again, keep sending your feedback. That is on NTV. That is at NTV Kenya, both on Twitter and on Facebook. And tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. And again, the question is, what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? Have you set them? Are you in the process of setting your goals, your intentions, or your resolutions? And what are some of the areas that you'd want to know more? Again, feel free to interact with us. Ask all those questions. You want to call in live as well, do that. And of course, Stephen will answer all your questions as far as goals, intentions, and resolutions are concerned. So there's still so much to come after the break. Stay with us. This is your world. Glad you're still with us. And of course, the show is Your World. This is actually our maiden show of the year 2023. So, Stephen, you're the first guest of the year 2023.
I'm so honored.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
So, our first show of the year. And of course, we figured, you know what, let's just start right and getting to really understand, the whole question about setting goals and resolutions and, intentions, and how, like we said, sometimes it can be very daunting for so many people to just think, oh, okay, it's the new year, everybody's talking about resolutions. Well, I guess I gotta set my own resolutions, for the year. But like Stephen said earlier on, the question about why are you setting your goals should be what sets you apart, all right, from those people who just set goals because they are setting goals, and those people who really understand why they're setting their goals. So the question that we're asking you is, what are your intentions or resolutions for the new year? And that is the year 2023. What are your goals? And I mean, what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? The hashtag to use is your world. Again, on Twitter and on Facebook at NTV Kenya, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie, and tell us, what are some of your intentions? What is the process that you're undertaking to set these goals? And whatever question that you have as far as goal setting and resolutions is concerned, would also want to, understand some of your concerns. And of course, Stephen is here to help us with the same. Stephen Mwero, who is a life coach. Now, when we were going through the feedback, right, and again, really good intentions and resolutions that people have, but we were discussing this, and that is, understanding why, especially for that person who said, yeah, nataka kuoa. The biggest question is why. Remember, we're talking about maybe the cold nights.
Maybe amechoka kuchomeka na sufuria,
So the why part is very necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. But when it comes to marriage, and I really like that, he just wrote one word, kuoa. Yeah.
Like one word.
He's precise. It's to the point. It is spelled out in, I guess, all scripture, and it's human nature that we all want to live generations. We want to multiply. We want to procreate, isn't it? And one of the primary objectives of marriage is to also further your lineage. You want to procreate. You want to leave some young ones here. But also you want companionship.
Yeah.
And this becomes very clear when you start growing older, you know. You don't want to go home to an empty nest. And having said that, of course, piece of advice, if you're going to marry, please marry a friend. Marry somebody you can have a conversation with.
Yeah.
Because all these other things we talk about, the excitement, the anxiety,
Chemistry,
the butterflies. Yeah, that chemistry.
Yes.
Chemistry is important.
Yeah.
But look for compatibility above everything else.
All
because those feelings fade for many reasons.
Yeah.
And if you're not compatible in areas of especially conversations, especially sitting down to plan things together, it can be daunting.
So understand why.
Understand why.
Why you want to. Yeah.
And in those intentions we are talking about, actually that's where why comes in. What are your intentions?
Yeah.
Why do you want to achieve something?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do something? If that is not clear, along the way, you may lose motivation, or you could fail in a way that you feel you don't want ever again to do this or something else of the same nature.
Yeah.
Discouragement can be real. So if you begin with a compelling why, what your intentions are, then it is very easy even when you fail, because you will fail. It's not a question of if. Along the way, when you set goals, you will encounter failures.
True.
The magnitude may differ, but everybody encounters. But when you fail, if you're clear in why you started, you will find more energy, more motivation to pick yourself up and keep moving. And allow me to give people an example I love when I teach.
All right.
Of a gentleman called Benjamin Franklin. He's not there. He died a long time ago.
All right.
The Americans refer to him as a founding father of America. At the age of 20, the guy sat himself down, akajiita kamkutano, akajiuliza this question, which everybody, when you're setting your goals, you should ask. What kind of a person do I want to become? Because don't set goals to achieve. What you achieve, you can always lose.
All right.
But set goals so that you become. The process of pursuing your goal should help you to become. It's more important who you become than what you get.
Yeah.
Why? Once you have become, meaning you've developed capacity. When you set goals, you need to develop capacity. Even if you lost everything else, you can always acquire it.
Yeah.
Because you have the capacity.
Yeah.
Because of who you've become. And this guy went ahead and said that his intention, his why, was to become a moral person, to follow the universal law of do unto others as you would wish them to do unto you.
Yeah.
If it comes to loving, love. If it comes to giving, give. Whatever it is you would want done to you, do it to other people. Do you know something? And that's why I brought him up. Because of his setting of his goals and having a very compelling why early enough in his life, which most of us don't do, he ended up achieving so much that the Americans felt they owe him. He's the only guy who wasn't a president who appears on their dollar bills. In fact, the $100 bill is called a Benjamin. His face is on that, and it's the biggest note they have. You know that. So can you imagine that? You just focus on what you want to become. You want to become a good person. You want to contribute. You want to live a life of contribution. So the other things you get will become bonuses. Because trust me, if you're contributing, if you're making a positive difference in this world, if it's the money you're talking about to pay help, to buy a car, all that, it will be a natural consequence.
It will actually come. You know, and it's interesting because, again, when I was just going through and getting to really understand the whole question about goals and resolutions and all those things, I read someone's story and they were saying, and they were not so much about setting goals, because they're like, so fine, after I achieve my goal, what next? Right? So there's that emptiness, that void, you know, after you achieve that certain goal. Is like, yes, you feel good, you know, you feel really good that you have achieved that goal, but then after that, what next? So after the feeling good and the celebration and all those things comes the emptiness, in that you're asking yourself, so What next?
Wow.
So I like the question, you know, what you're talking about, becoming that. In that, after you achieved and maybe you lose it, you don't lose you, because you have become that thing or that person that you want to be. Are there things that should not be on our resolutions or on our goals? Things
that should not be?
Yeah.
Definitely. But before we go there, allow me just to say what next, to respond to that.
Yeah.
The emptiness. The emptiness comes because often we think of success as a destination, and it's not. We've been told many times success is a journey. So if I set a goal and I achieve it, I need to be more creative and set a bigger goal.
A bigger goal.
You know that the biggest, the largest room in the world is room for improvement. Let me give you an example. 2 years ago, I set myself a target to go to Kilimanjaro Summit.
Yeah.
But when I was setting that target, I hadn't even done the hills around. And I knew before you get to Kilimanjaro, you have to go to the summits of so many others.
Yeah.
In those 2 years, I've done Kilimanjaro, I think, 44 times. I've done Mount Kenya Summit 2 times and day hikes like 8 times.
Okay.
And my aim was to go to Kilimanjaro. I've done Aberdares countless times. And basically, I can say, at the risk of sounding like I'm bragging, but I'm not, that I've done all the hills around.
Really?
In Kenya.
Okay.
And whatever can be considered a mountain in Kenya, I have done. Guess what? I feel I have become the kind of person I want to become now to go to Kilimanjaro. And as a matter of fact, I'm doing that from Saturday, coming week. I'm taking a team of 7 to climb Kilimanjaro. And after that, we have our eyes set on Everest. We have our eyes set on other things.
Okay.
So you cannot say after you've achieved your goal, you wonder what next.
Yeah, like what next?
You're boxing yourself.
Yeah.
This is where Eliud Kipchoge told us no human is limited, because you can always think bigger. You develop capacity so that you can see more.
I mean,
I get that. You can see farther.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, when you're not setting goals, you live in a confined space. When you
Kind
set goals, you get to that goal. You know what happens? It elevates you. Now you are able to see other things. And one of the lessons I teach people when I take them to the mountains, that we get on top and I tell them, I want you to look back and tell me, what do you see? And everybody goes like, wow, it is so beautiful. And I'm like, the beauty you're seeing is down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has it just suddenly appeared?
No.
And everybody goes, no. So what happened?
Okay. Can we take a call on that note?
Yes.
We have David from Kiambu on the line. David, good morning. Thank you very much for calling us. How are you? How is the new year for you started? David, are you there?
Yeah.
It's so good to speak with you this morning. Happy New Year, first of all. We can't hear you. Okay, David, could you do something for me? Kindly turn down the volume of your TV so that we can communicate and we can hear you clearly. All right, David, are you still there? Okay, all right. So Happy New Year to you. Do you have a question? Do you have a comment?
My problem is
I can't hear you, David, unfortunately. I can't hear you. Kindly call us back so that we have like better reception and so that we can also hear and understand you. But before we continue, we had another caller on the line. We have Pastor Marcus from Thika. It's so good to speak with you this morning, Pastor Marcus. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for calling us. So do you have a question or do you have a contribution to today's
First,
conversation?
I have to say hi to the guy you are right there. I think he knows this.
Anakusikia, tuma salamu.
Hi, Pastor.
How are you?
I'm good.
Wave again, people can see.
He says you wave again.
Tell him to wave again.
Hi, Pastor. How are you?
Again. People of Thika to see. People of Thika to see.
Hi, watu wa Thika.
Thika to see. Wave again.
I'm waving. They're my buddies.
You here? This is your camera.
Oh, that's my camera. Okay.
Wave again. Wave again to people of Thika to see.
Sorry, Pastor. I was waving at the wrong camera. You know, these things ni kwangu.
It's okay. Now, I'll just make a very retro comment.
Okay.
I don't know whether you guys have a Bible.
I mean, go ahead. Yes.
Because I'll say Matthew 7:7.
Okay.
You're the one who's going to read Matthew 7:7.
Okay. Matthew 7:7.
7:7. Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a
Yeah.
sec. Let me get that. But go ahead.
No. I will say something until you read.
Oh, you want to say something on the same?
Yeah, you read
Okay.
Matthew 7:7.
All right, sawa. Just give me a sec. You know those people who go to church and then the pastor says,
Matthew
open your
7:7.
Bible or whatever it
Yeah.
is that you have.
Better open
Okay.
it.
Sawa.
Better open the Bible.
Uh-huh.
Matthew 7:7 says what?
Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. Yes.
Repeat again.
Ask and it will be given.
To you.
Given you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you.
The next one.
Okay. Hey, Pastor Meambua kweli ni church. Haya. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened.
Repeat again. 8.
Hi, Pastor Marcus. Okay, for everyone who asks
you repeat again,
receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened.
So, setting goals for the year.
Okay.
If you base on those 2 verses,
Uh-huh.
it shall happen.
Okay.
Yeah, it shall happen. If you base it with 2 verses, Matthew 7:7
Uh-huh.
and Matthew 7:8.
Matthew 7:7 and Matthew 7:8.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just base your goals on that.
Okay.
That's the end of it.
All right.
Yeah, can I say a prayer?
Very quickly.
Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you and we glorify your name. Out of the 2 verses that we have read, Matthew 7:7 and Matthew 7:8, may our goals that we want for this year work through those verses. Through the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And
Amen.
May you all be blessed. And
Thank
give
you.
him-
And you
give him
too.
my number.
You
Give
too.
him my number. Give him my number. He lost my number. Give him my number.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Pastor.
And if you get my number, you call me.
Okay. All right. Yes,
All right.
yes, we'll save your number. Thank you very much, Pastor Marcus from Thika. And Pastor Marcus, listen, we have a show called Crossover, that airs on Sunday. So I think it will be really, really good to have you as well. There. That is a crossover and you can talk about all those things. But I get that. I absolutely get what Pastor is saying. So thank you very much, Pastor Marcus. And again, keep calling. The numbers are down on your screen about your intentions and resolutions for the year that is 2023. Are you encountering some bit of challenge as far as setting your goals? Again, feel free to let us know, and of course Stephen will help you set the direction and the pace for you. But again, like we said, so there's so many things that sort of like a hindrance to people achieving their goals, and of course we have highlighted a lot of things. So then the question about the 20% and what they're doing right and to help them succeed, what is it that then we all can learn when it comes to setting the goals? I know we talked about understanding our why, when it comes to setting our resolutions and goals and all those things. But that is not enough, right? Because we have to stay on course and make sure that we achieve this, at the end of the year.
So I know your time is very much gone. So
Yes.
I'll just quickly tell you a few things. And before I give the pointers of how you make sure you achieve your goals and why the 20% succeed and the 80% don't, let me say this. In this year, make one decision, mature up. Because the most manifest sign of maturity is setting goals and pursuing them.
All right.
Immaturity is when you live by the flow.
Yeah.
Like a baby. What can you achieve when you only wait to be taken care of? Nothing. You only achieve what those who are taking care of you
Want you to
achieve.
True.
Isn't it? So if you want to achieve anything in your life, you have to be mature. And to be mature means you have to live your life intentionally.
Big word.
Be deliberate. This is that year. Unaacha utoto. Unakuwa mtu mzima.
You have to mature.
You have to mature. Even God wants us to be mature.
Yeah.
And He's a God of order. So you also have to be orderly.
All right.
So why do 20% succeed and 80% don't? By
yeah.
February, you see? And
Yes.
that can be applied to life, by the way. It's not just about New Year. It's because there are things that 20% do that the 80% don't. And let me just point out 5.
All right.
Number 1, they have a burning desire. You have to have a desire that burns you.
Right.
It makes you passionate. As I said earlier, most people just kind of want. But those who really desire to achieve do whatever it takes. They are called team WIT, W-I-T. Many people only do things when they are convenient. That is what the 80% do. They say, I want to lose weight. And they even enroll to a gym.
Yeah.
Then they go to a gym, they try. The only thing they end up losing is
Let me
morale.
tell you, like the first few days, you are so pumped up. You get there on time.
I don't know whether you saw this meme doing rounds. Day 1, somebody. Day 2, day 3, ata huendi. Day 4, blanketi. Pap, finished. So you have to have a burning desire.
Okay.
And you have to translate or transform your shoulds to musts.
Okay.
That's necessary.
All right.
Number 2, very important. Please don't have your goals in your head or your resolutions.
Okay.
Put them down. Write them down.
True.
If it's not on paper, it is vapor. It will evaporate.
Hey, let me just be Pastor Marcus and ask, can you repeat that again for the people here?
If it's not on paper,
it
is vapor. And you know why?
Okay.
You cannot hold yourself to account on things you have not written. And there are times you even have these very good ideas, these very good intentions in your head. And you really want to do them.
Yeah.
And because you didn't write, later on, you're thinking, I had a very good idea. Where did it go? You never wrote it down, so you cannot refer. You know, when you record, you can refer. And whatever you can refer, you can review and refine. Yeah? You keep improving on it, and you can achieve it. So put it on paper to hold yourself to account. To give yourself a record. Number 3, when you set a big goal, I just gave you the example of Kilimanjaro. But I had to develop my capacity by breaking it down to smaller things that I could do and achieve and keep myself motivated and improve that capacity. So break down your big goal into smaller goals with timelines that you can know within a week. If I said I want this at the end of the year, within a week, this is what I'm doing. Within a month, this is what I'm doing. And then be in the habit of calling yourself to meetings where you call your board of management. You know, within you have a board of management.
Yes.
You have the health CS, you have your finance CS, you have your PR person, you have your education CS. You have all those things. Call yourself to those meetings and do a review. We say this is what we want to achieve within the first week. Have we achieved it? The first month, have we achieved it? Because you need to keep reviewing to keep yourself on track and to know how far you are from. You also review and see, do I have everything it takes? Because it will also call for you to do 2 things. Build your competences and acquire the necessary skill sets. So you have broken down. Number 4, please assemble a team or even one person that you trust of accountability partners. If you don't share your goals with someone, it's very easy to say, hata sikuambia mtu, hata sijasikia vibaya when I fail. Please make sure that you have someone who holds you to account, who calls you and say, Winnie, by the way, you said you're buying that V8 by June. How far are we? But, I mean,
let me tell you, I mean, I saw a comment in relation to that, and I'm trying to look for it. It says, I think last year we told people and we do not achieve. So this time around me, I'm not telling anyone because I told people, they jinxed it. So we're not telling anyone. I'm looking for that comment. But basically, that is what he was saying.
And nobody jinxed you. You simply were not serious. You weren't committed. That's true. You were not committed. You just wanted something, but you had not committed.
You were not committed to the same. Okay.
So, and the last thing I want to say, number 5, is that what these 20% do, they then make a deliberate decision to take that first step. It is so important to start. The momentum that the plane takes off from the taxiway wheel is the momentum that helps it reach that height. If it did not gather that momentum, it will just come down crashing, isn't it?
True.
So what is that first step that's going to give you momentum? Because you must do it. You cannot take step number 2 until you've been able to take step number one. And understand that any meaningful success is not achieved overnight. It's a process. Rome was not built in a day, but it was built daily. So every day you must decide, what are you doing? But it starts with that first step.
Take the first step. It is scary.
Take the first step.
But you can do it.
Yeah, it requires courage.
True.
But courage is not the absence of fear. You know that? It is allowing yourself to feel the fear, but doing it nevertheless.
Anyway. Yes.
Because you understand your why.
I usually like that quote. Feel the fear, but do it
anyway. Do it anyway.
I like that.
And your greatness anyway is always on the other side of fear. The things you fear doing most hold the key to the things you long for in this world.
Okay. Yes. All right. And of course, the question that we asked you again is what are your intentions or resolutions for the year 2023? Listen, we're getting a lot, all right, from the conversation. And someone actually said, wait. Yeah, we have told customers they can't share it. And also they said, and there's one that I want you to read, and then I'll come back to what I was looking for. Says nimeingia freestyle. Ikuje play that. This is Daniel Busolo. Daniel Busolo amesema, you know what? Kaende freestyle. What do you make of that? And we talked about this earlier on, where we said sometimes like there are some people who are just like, you know what? Let's just see how it goes. We'll go with the flow.
Without making it personal, I would want to say to Daniel, that is dangerous. That is, I would say, a sure way of not getting much out of life. And God did not put us here so that we just survive. God put us here to thrive. He wants us to do well. In fact, he says he wants us to live a life of abundance. And the thing is, there is everything you need in this world. If you need a Mercedes Benz, you just need to walk to DT Dobby. See, they have it. You go to CMC, you want Range Rovers, the latest, they are there. Everything. You want plot, they call it in our language, maguta, meaning, the ones that are like oil.
Yes.
They are there, isn't it?
Yes.
Anything you want, the most beautiful dresses, they are there. But for you to get them, you have to transform your wants to that deep-rooted heart desire, so that you do whatever it takes.
Is needed,
There is no reason why we should be talking all the time and writing books about Bill Gates, the richest man. It's nice to read, but once you read, does it inspire you to want to become? Does it inspire you, even if not to become a Bill Gates, but at least for other people to write about you? Because if you cannot get a book you want to read on the shelves, write it. And your life is actually a book. Who is putting it out there to the people? When you set goals, you're writing chapters. Who will read about you? Why do we always have to read about other people?
I mean,
why?
That's a really,
who's gonna read
way
about
to
you?
think about it here.
This life you have is a piece of art, and I say, make it a masterpiece.
Make it a masterpiece.
You are the artist. You are the architect of your life. If you don't set goals, then you're just ordinary. And I don't know whether we are about to conclude.
Yes, we literally have like a minute.
Let me conclude by telling you my mantra of life. When other people are sitting, I stand. When other people stand, I stand out. When other people stand out, I become outstanding. When other people dare to become outstanding, then I become the standard, the SI unit, the benchmark by which they measure themselves. That should be the mantra of everyone who wants to live a fulfilling life, because setting goals gives you fulfillment in life. It helps you set higher bars every time you achieve.
So that you don't get to that point where, like we said, this person was asking, so I have achieved my goal, then what next? All right, I like that. Okay, before we finish, this person says, this is Dennis on Facebook, says, cheer for Manchester United as loud as I can and make enemies supporters mad when when I post the titles and we are winning. And then we can understand. win EPL, Arsenal. Zingine ni siri yangu na Mola. I mean, listen, it's and then someone else says, actually, the elders and I, where is that comment? It keeps, yeah, the elders and I are still working on them. Though the year looks familiar, I might copy paste. So copy what they planned for last year and put it on 2023. But listen, I mean, we've learned a lot from today's conversation. So much to grasp. But of course, if you were, not too sure, what is it? What do I need to do? And all those things, I believe that now you have some sort of direction when it comes to setting your goals and resolutions as well, as far as the new year is concerned. And like we said when we started the show, it doesn't really have to be a new year. I mean, Mr. Steven and I were talking about how we set ours on our birthdays, and my birthday is in December, so it's not too far from the new year. So that is when I set my goals for the year that I'm turning, not necessarily for the new year. That is 2023. So whatever it is, and people say their years begin at different times. There are some people who their year will begin in February, others in March. It's okay. Just make sure that bottom line is you have your goals. So Stephen Mwiru, life coach, asante sana for coming by today. Really, learned a lot from the conversation today. And thank you for all the calls and all your comments. We say thank you, and we want to wish you a happy new year. May all your dreams come true. May all your heart's desires be fulfilled. But remember, like we said, you gotta put in the work. It's not enough to just have a goal, but you have to put in the work to make sure that you achieve those set goals. So my name is Winnie Lubembe. We have to say goodbye now, but this whole week we'll be focusing on goals and intentions for the year 2023. So tomorrow we'll be looking at finances, all right? And that is budgeting for the new year. You do not want to miss tomorrow's conversation, but for now, stay safe, God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day. Have a productive week ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.